think I have a hard time talking to people because as soon as the conversation starts with like, what do you do? What do you like to do? What are your goals? I have fun. I like to have fun. I want to have fun all the time, forever, like for the rest of my life. I'm just really extremely passionate about having fun all the time.
Why are the men so ugly on Hinge? Why are they're so ugly and weird and scary?
I do not have any straight cis men in my life. I've talked about this openly before. The closest it would get is probably my non-binary sibling, and they're still not a man. Of course, I have to interact with men out in the wild, and that's as much as I can tolerate because it really is insufferable to me. As much as I share about men online, it's because I'm talking to women so that they can also realize the power of centering other women in their life and know that oftentimes men are probably making their life worse rather than making it better.
Advice from the girlies, stat. I was supposed to go on a date tonight, but he hasn't responded to me in 4 days. So obviously I assume I'm not going on a date tonight.
Bingo! Yahtzee!
My date was supposed to be at 7 p.m. Currently it is 5:35 p.m. He just messages me saying, yep, still good for today. But sorry, I haven't heard from you in the last 4 days. So I was very much under the impression I was not going on this date tonight. And I don't want to, because I don't want to set this precedent that you can leave me hanging and I'm just going to be available. But the problem is I am free tonight. So I could still go on this date. I have a principal to meet now. So what do you think? Should I go on the date? Should I not go on the date? I don't think I should go on the date. I think I should stick to it and say, no, you didn't respond to me, so there's no date. But do I offer him a chance to do another date?
I'm newly engaged, and as a man that wears an engagement band, I have some questions. Why don't straight men wear engagement bands? Because women are the property? Only women are supposed to have a nonverbal cue that they're off the market? It gets worse. Okay, so when men are single, they're Mr. And when women are single, they're Miss. But then when you get married, men are still Mr. and women become Mrs., which doesn't make sense when you see how it's written. But then when you look at it like this, it makes perfect freaking sense. It's all about possession.
He's gonna do all this talking, say all this nonsense, then go get married to the man of his dreams and take his last name. Shut up talking.
Why am I meeting men in their 30s, pushing their 40s, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship. I don't know for a girlfriend yet. What are you waiting for? Your girlfriend to be born?
When I ask him to use my back door, and he asks if it's unlocked.
The only men that are afraid of gold diggers are the ones that have no gold. I talk to a lot of men on the street. It's my job. It's always the guys that don't really have a lot of money that are talking about how bad gold diggers are. Yes, there are some women that are completely only interested in money and they don't care if the man is old and ugly and boring because they just want to marry rich. Those rich men, they're fine with that. They don't care. They don't care if a woman's using them for their money. They're stoked. They're like, okay, I'll buy my wife.
Did I hear that correctly? So you're okay being objectified. You're okay being purchased. I thought y'all said that y'all didn't have a price.
I've asked a lot of my guy friends their opinions on men going 50-50 with women, and their answers are very interesting. So the guys I've asked, they're from different age group, different income levels, different career backgrounds, and at first they would tell me going 50-50 with women is reasonable nowadays. Also, it depends on the stage of your relationship. Sometimes I pay, sometimes she pays. Relationship is about two people getting to know each other, supporting each other, growing together, which are totally understandable and valid points. And then I asked them, if you meet a girl that is absolutely your dream, being with her will make you the happiest person on earth, would you go 50-50 with her? And they all went silent. After a very long pause, every one of them said, no. And then they're finally being honest with me. They said from a guy's perspective, if they meet a girl they really like, going 50-50 with her would make them embarrassing and humiliating. That kind of idea would not even come across their mind. They will try to do everything to impress her. If they don't have money won't be the problem. They will find a way. So ladies, listen, if you want to go 50-50 with a guy, this is exactly what they're thinking about.
I think this is missing context because the woman of his dreams would do things to help him out. She would be there for him. She would be loyal to him. She would actually be supporting him in his vision and doing everything that she possibly could to help him with that vision. About 90%, 95% of the stuff that he would want and need, she would be already working to do that for him. So of course, it would be easy for him to give back. I think you guys need to think about that when talking about if he wants to go 50-50, you're not his dream girl sort of thing, you know?
Social media is really ruining women's value because they are no longer using their voice. They're using their body.
So last night I was at this bar, right? And I met this girl. And I'm like kikiing with her, like we're having a great time. And the topic of body counts comes up. And she asked my friend and I to guess. So him and I guess. And she's like, go up. Like him and I guess like 40 and 20. And she's like, think double. So it's like 80. And she's like, think more than that. And I was like, holy, right? And so I was like 100. And she's like, more. And I'm like, what the? Shorty's body count was 152. She had a notes app. She pulled it out. She showed me this notes app of every guy that she had ever slept with, along with like keynote qualities. So like some of them like eating out, was a munch, worked in finance, like played lacrosse, was French, like that kind of stuff. And then at the very bottom, she had like a tally of like repeat qualities that she had noticed in these men. So like, for example, like 5 of them were French, 10 of them were artists. And I was like, oh my God, like that's insane to me. Like I'm never gonna judge someone for what they do with their body. And also I support women for their rights and wrongs, but I was just like, am I supposed to be keeping a list? Like, is that what people are doing? Because I'm gonna be so honest, I don't even want to remember like 3/4 of the people that I've slept with, much less like 152 of them. Anyways, is that something that the kids are doing nowadays? Like, is that something I'm supposed to be doing? Should I like be keeping a list?
Well, once again, I say you don't need a T app or Facebook to know what these women are up to. They're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you proudly what it's about.
I'm going to tell you why the club scene is over. The club scene is over because men want to be women. And when I say men want to be women, they want to cut the line.
I swear, some of y'all come up here and have the absolute worst takes I've ever seen on a particular topic. So I'm a DJ. I DJ all types of events, but I DJ a lot of clubs. And she's saying that the problem with clubs is that men don't want to wait in line. Lady, I don't want to be the one to tell you this. No one has ever liked waiting in line. Like, that's the worst part about going to a club. Like women, listen, for a lot of y'all, I don't know what you want. It's like, okay, so when I watch social media and how women talk about clubs on social media, this is what it seems like to me. Okay. It seems like women want to come to the club. They don't want to have to wait in line. They don't want to have to pay to get in that club. They want the men to just let them in. While they're in there, they just want to be left alone. Nothing wrong with that. I get it. But also, they want men to buy their drinks while they're in the club. And don't tell me that we can buy our own drinks. I didn't say you couldn't, right? I said what you want is for men that you don't like to buy you drinks in the club. I made a video about it. I have proof, okay? And then after they buy you drinks, you then want them to leave you alone more. And then if a man bothers you in the club, you want other men to step in and tell that man to stop, just so you can go online and say how all men are terrible. Men don't want to do that. Like, nobody wants to do that. Like, so if this is what you're saying men have a problem with, it's like, no, tell the whole story.
These women love the privilege, man. They love the privilege without the responsibility. None at all.
Things that men do early on in relationships or conversations leading up to a relationship that just make me, no thank you. Inviting you to dinner, but then looking at you when the bill comes like, huh? Oh, okay, I see how this is going. Farting. Like, why are we doing that right now? I get that every man does it, every person does it, whatever your beliefs are, but you really couldn't hold it. This one really does it for me. Attacking another woman's appearance, and we're like first, second, third date in, because I clocked that and realized that's what you actually like. When a man doesn't make plans, like, just is like, whatever you want to do, okay, that's fine, just figure something out. Like, no, I need you to take the initiative and be the man and plan something the first few times, and then after that, we're kind of comfortable with each other, so I can start throwing out suggestions and things can be a little bit more casual. But until then, it's your job.
I actually need you to throw out suggestions from the time that we meet, so I won't be spinning my wheels. I'm fine planning the date, but I need some suggestions. When Siri asks you something, when any of these AI assistants, when they ask you something, you go to Subway, you tell them what you want in your sandwich. You can go to you go to McDonald's. What do you want? Take this off, put this on. But all of a sudden, when it comes to a man has to do all the work. Open your mouth.
I believe men are supposed to chase a woman, date her, spoil her, respect and adore her, and love her more. Anything outside of that is just weird. And if you're watching this as a woman, disagreeing with it, thinking it's too much or you don't deserve this, you have been brainwashed and you do not know your own worth. And you may even have internalized misogyny, which you definitely need to work on and heal that shit.
Gotta stay away from women like this. They want nothing but energy from you. Nothing but money. Just zap all your energy from you. Stay away.
All right, so I was out at a bar and this guy, no one was approaching me, and I was like, you know what, this is, and then he.
This, the heart, down.
He hit me with that?
Guys, take a note, works every time.
It worked, oh my god.
Every time.
And then he started throwing like numbers at me, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And then I was like, you know what, I appreciate the effort, so I had to go up to him. I had to sit next to you and be like, hi, like, that was good.
Take notes, fellas. Take notes. It works.
Because no man was approaching me, and I was like, this is like actually insane.
But the key is though, the heart and the down motion. Boom. Seals the deal every time. Every time. Let's go.
It honestly worked. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm here with you right now.
Yeah, we're bar hopping now.
We're bar hopping now.
She's showing me the town. That's all that matters. All right, let's go.
Yeah, we're bar hopping now. Sorry.
It's still going.
It's still going.
Is it still go? Oh, it is still going. Oh,
Lord, please make this relationship work. I'm tired of seeing this woman begging. Please, please, my man, be good to her. Please, please, please.
So here's a question that I ask on a first date that tells me kind of what I need to know about a guy. Okay, so I asked, do you think that would you survive a zombie apocalypse, or would you take yourself out? And if you take yourself out, which you'd be surprised by how many people take themselves out, it's immediate no. Okay, because what if this happened right now? I'm gonna need a protector. I mean, I can totally survive for myself, and I would survive, but like, I don't need to be worried about you, you know. And then there's the guys that respond with like, well, like I don't believe in like a zombie apocalypse happening. So well, obviously I don't either. Okay, like, this is a hypothetical scenario. Can you just have a little fun? So that instantly tells me that their imagination is just okay. And then there are the people that say that they would survive. Okay, and that just brings about a second round of questions. It makes me question more, you know. So it's just like, I feel like a good start off question. You should use it.
So you mean to tell me that my love language, the things that I love when a man does for me, is actually toxic? And those are red flags that I should run from? So the things that get my attention, I should run from? Well, I think I just figured out my problem.
Somebody really asked me this question. What does a 40-year-old man need from an 18, 19-year-old woman? Are you for real? There are many answers to this question. Listen to me. Say fun. Fun is all hell. Got great ideas of what we should do. Ain't got no responsibilities. Still got good cartilage on their joints. You know, don't got to deal with a residual energy. You know what that is, energy? That is when a woman's been dealing with for so long, she thinks she know how to deal with it. You don't know me. I'm different. There's so many reasons. No responsibility is the beautiful part. You ain't got no cheering. I can say, baby, let's go to Jamaica. You know what she gonna say? I want to get my hair done. Ooh, let's so look, let's stop at Aldo. Shorty want to wear the 2-piece swimsuit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to deal with the arm over the arm in the angle pictures. When you take pictures with your 18, 19-year-old girl on a beach in the island, she take them like this. Like, she take them like she a cheerleader, like just all body, and just, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all in late 20s and 30s, You got a little fupa going, you got to start turning it to that angle and putting your arm around it. We know what that is, baby. That's that stomach guard. That's God's favorite chastity belt right there. But what it really boiled down to, let's be honest, it boiled down to the oh yeah, let me tell you something. Ain't nothing like having sex with a woman where all her parts are still where they supposed to be. Yes, sir, yes, sir. The body at the they still at the dangling down by her navel. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you, man. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. And then look, I don't even got to worry about whether she like me or not. I don't got to think about all that. All I got to have is the money. As long as I got the money, that's all I need. Here's the thing about having the money. If you got the money, you got the cars, you got the crib. You know what else you got? You got all 5, 6 of her friends. Everybody gonna want a piece of this. You got a crib where you don't mind them coming through and playing around and enjoying. They be making their little dance videos that they don't never post. I'm trying to, they all want that. You be letting them borrow their car. Hey, Mr. Robert, hey, what you doing today? Just because they want to borrow the car when they want to and you don't mind, because I got the money. As long as you got the money, it's fine. I'm serious, and I'm so generous with it. I'm retired Army, plus I make money on social media. Let me tell you something, baby. I'm going to have the same money as long as you stay the same age. And you can judge me if you want. Say some crazy, don't compare me to R. Kelly. You don't say that's that R. Kelly. You know what? No, it ain't. Because if R. Kelly was 18 and 19 years old, that would still be out here. We'll have a new trap in the closet. I swear to God, you can't judge me. You say what the you want to say, but I'm allowed to have relations with anybody above the age of will the defendant please rise and under the age of, damn, look at Granny. She look good. She look like she's sleeping. They did a good job on her. What you talking about? Follow me for more.
I'm sorry, y'all are gonna want to tussle over this, but I think it needs to be said. In an effort to decenter men, you have lost all nuance of what it means to be a straight woman and understanding that, yes, you're an individual person and that you exist outside of relationships with men and also wanting to sleep with and be in relationships with men. Like, they're not mutually exclusive. I can understand that having a man is not everything in my life, but still wanting romantic partnership because as human beings, that's absolutely normal. And I say this because I keep seeing the discourse surrounding Sabrina Carpenter ever since she announced her album a few months ago with the album cover with her on her knees. I just feel like it's been a complete overreaction. And the discomfort that people have towards Sabrina Carpenter and other women who express desires is really something that I think people should unpack. Like, you still view something that is done to women. And therefore, you have a difficult time conceptualizing someone being young, hot, and free and engaging in types of relations that maybe you don't feel comfortable doing or in a way that you feel isn't feminist. And I just don't really understand the conversations that we're having. I feel like I say this on my videos. I don't understand what's going on. We're having conversations about the rise of conservatism, and you don't realize that your policing of women's actions, your need to be so hypercritical and judgmental, how that plays into the actual rise of conservatism more so than anything that Sabrina Carpenter has sung in any of her songs or her branding or her music videos or anything like that. She's just being fun. It's a fun little album because she's horny and she likes sleeping with men. Who cares? Who cares? If you don't like it, then don't like it. People are talking about, oh, she needs to sing about something else. What did you want her to sing about? What did you want her to sing about? You're upset because she told Gayle King that people need to go outside. They do need to go outside, because if you were outside, you wouldn't care. Like, you wouldn't listen to the album if you don't like it, or you would listen to it for what it was, and it's just like fun little bops. Like who cares? People are talking about, oh, well, you know, we lost Roe v. Wade. What does that have to do with Sabrina Carpenter? What does inflation have to do with Sabrina Carpenter? What does Trump being president have to do with Sabrina Carpenter? Like, you expect more out of her than you do your local politicians, which is a shame. Which is a shame. And maybe that's why the state of politics is the way that it is right now. Like, do you want her to sing about the Russian-Ukrainian war? What are we even talking about? Like, huh?
You hear what she said a few months ago? That means modern women love keeping up mess at anybody's expense.
There's a lot of women out here today who have become the emotional they claim to hate, and now we're calling it empowerment. Understanding that internalized patriarchy isn't just a man thing. Some of this looks like dominating or belittling your husband or partner in public, shaming him for having needs, or calling emotional control being strong and empowered. We have to understand that these types of dynamics are not forms of strength, or actually forms of trauma reenactments. If he shrinks, she gets rewarded for being the one that tamed him. Understand this, because this is something that I've learned being living in a city It's a very interesting city. There's a lot of generational trauma in this city. But what we don't understand is if what I have going on in my household is happening 3 doors down, it's happening with Cindy at work, it's happening with what's her name at the postal center, it's happening with my kid's teacher, it's happening with XYZ, my friend. We grow up in this and now it's normalized. We don't question it, which reinforces some of these cultural avoidance strategies that take place in these sorts of settings or cultural dynamics. If you live in a space where everyone cheats, everyone yells, we numb through alcohol or drugs, and then we're all performing like we're fine, what do you think is gonna happen? That's where dysfunction starts to feel like cozy home, and which is why a lot of people keyboard up with their pitchforks, because when someone challenges that norm, it can feel like an attack. I like to joke about how this is the La Toxica capital of Texas. I mean it in a nice way, okay? I'm not hating on the city. I have become an observer of this sediment of trauma that is forming when one culture dominates, and also when generational pain is never getting interrupted, and when therapy is mocked and cheating is viewed as a joke. These are all norms that I've witnessed. And that doesn't mean everybody that lives here is going through it. That's the nuance. And something that has been even more shocking to me is the amount of clinicians in the city that are mirroring it. All of the dysfunction, because they're from it. And sometimes even these clinicians are afraid to even say the truth when the predominant dynamic is one way, or because they're trying to silently survive the system as well. And if you're a mental health professional, I want to ask you a question. Are you challenging the very waters that you're swimming in? Or are you just blending in?
I've been saying this. A lot of modern women go to therapy thinking that, you can pass that and then you can show people the grade. Well, look, I went to therapy. Did you? No, I really didn't need it because I knew how to work through my issues on my own. Not saying that you shouldn't go to therapy. I'm just saying you really didn't learn anything in therapy. And so now you've gone to therapy, learned a couple of new words, and you're trying to throw those words onto me. You really need to go back to therapy and figure out what's going on with you before you continue telling men that you're healed when you're actually not.
The only thing worse than reading a book where the writer clearly thinks the reader is stupid is everyone's favorite pop girly thinking her fans are stupid. Let's listen to some of the stuff she says in this interview together, shall we?
When people first saw the cover of Man's Best Friend, there was a lot of tisk, 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 and oh my.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to their reaction?
Like, y'all need to get out more, I think. I was actually shocked because I think between me and my friends and my family and the people that I always share my music and my art with first, it just wasn't even a conversation. It was just like, it's perfect for what the album is.
First of all, that's a lie. I'm sorry. And something is about this much money. This is like a huge thing. Sabrina Carpenter's next album, huge thing. It was definitely discussed. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, this looks good. Why lie?
Everything about it to me just felt like so opposite of like the world ending.
The world ending comment was just to make everyone that talked about it feel silly.
What was your intention? What is the message you're trying to say on this cover, if anything?
I think to me it's so up to interpretation, but
I'm gonna say your intention was actually outrage. You wanted outrage. You wanted people to talk about this, and you got what you wanted. It worked out. It's okay. Just don't lie about it.
What's your interpretation?
My interpretation is being in on the control, being in on your lack of control, and when you want to be in control. Like, I think as a young woman, you're just as aware of when you're in control as when you're not. And I think some of those are choices. And I think for me, this whole album was about the humanity of allowing yourself to make those mistakes, knowing when you're, putting yourself in a situation that will probably end up poorly, but it's going to teach you something. So there's a lot of different meanings.
Because one of the comments was, it can't be all three. Some people
you read
say,
all the comments.
Yeah.
You read all the comments. That is, again, a way of, ridiculing the whole situation.
Well, not all of them, just a couple. Sabrina can't have it both ways. If it's a satire of how men treat us, it can't also be a straightforward image of a woman being submissive just because it's
right.
When you heard that or read that, what did you think?
There's just a lot of pointing fingers for, at that point they hadn't heard the project. They don't know me. They don't know my intentions. They don't know the stories I'm telling. So I try to take it with a grain of salt and also know that my fans that know me and know the person behind the music will look at that photo and they know exactly what it is.
So only people that know her will understand what she was trying to say? She's a world famous pop star. Most people don't know her. And saying oh, my fans that know me, that's like a parasocial thing. Your fans don't know you. They know what you show them. And it's this. Anyway, I know the Sabrina Carpenter fans that know her will come for me, and I apologize, but I was just like, What is this interview? But yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, bye.
No, you just don't have anything to do. Your life is boring. You have nothing better to do other than to hate on somebody. You didn't like the album and you didn't want her to show. It's funny. Women continue to say, well, live your life, do whatever you want, do it for the plot. Sabrina goes out there and does it for the plot. And then all of a sudden you have a problem because she didn't do it in the way that you wanted it to be done. She didn't say or show herself in the way that fit into your plot. You guys are losers. And you need to stop putting your nose in somebody else's business.
You guys, this generation of men is not it. Not it. I am 37. I have 2 kids. I'm not in my 20s. I've busted my ass to be able to maintain the physique I have. And if I want to rave about it every single day, I'm gonna do that. And I don't need any of you men who are insecure and want to be loud on my posts putting me down because you don't feel good about yourself. Like, boy, bye. Get the f out of here. Nobody asked you.
So I'm looking at her page. It does look like she does have a lot of gym stuff, a lot of poses. So, I mean, if she works out, would I have said something about it? Probably not. If they coming on your page just to hate, then yeah, I don't know if I would stop to do that. But I think what they're talking about is if you're presenting yourself a certain way, then I don't know. Like, and you're looking for a man. That's the most important thing. Like, you're looking for a man, you present yourself a certain way, and then you got kids, and then you think a certain way. Men are looking for exclusivity. I think maybe, you guys say that you want a man and then you put this type of stuff out here. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. And I just found this as I was about to click off. Me as a girlfriend versus me as an ex. I mean, like, looks great, but, man, it's more your attitude, I think, is what a lot of men are getting at. Your attitude of wanting to flex when you get out of a relationship. But then when you get into a relationship, I don't know, man.
Men and women have been acting like this since the beginning of time. God tells Adam, don't eat the fruit from this tree. Adam tells Eve the same thing. The serpent shows up and says, did God really say that? Now suddenly Eve's wheels start spinning. He's hiding something. He's keeping secrets. He has a point. Maybe Adam twisted it. Maybe he actually means the opposite. Could there be another woman? Maybe Adam told me not to eat the fruit because him and this other woman wanted to eat it together. Meanwhile, Adam's just standing there. He went from naming raccoons to, am I supposed to stop this? Is this normal? What am I supposed to do here? She just hands him fruit and he's so stunned he just eats it without even realizing it. Now Eve's saying, why didn't you stop me? And he's like, I just, no, I can't, what? Adam froze and he's still frozen. Eve doubted. She represents literally every woman that exists today. Confusion was just built into us. It's how we're wired. I think there's a good lesson to be learned here. God made us to be the helpers, but helping doesn't mean making sure all the facts are straight. It means believing him, supporting him, and letting him lead.
Alright, I might get hate for saying this, but I hear so much about taxi cab theory on here, and I absolutely cannot stand it. It is cope, and I'm going to explain why. If you are new to the term, taxi cab theory is the idea that men are like taxi cabs. Like, they have the light on top, and if they're emotionally unavailable and the light is off, it doesn't matter how many times you try to hail the taxi cab, it's not stopping. And before we keep going, this part is actually 100% true, and I completely agree with it. If a guy is emotionally unavailable, it really genuinely doesn't matter how perfect you are. That light's just not going on, he's not on the market, and that's okay. I think this part does matter because there's a lot of girls who will be like really genuinely frustrated with the fact that a guy is just not responding and they feel like they're doing everything right. You can genuinely be doing everything right, and if a guy is just not into it or he's not like open to it, he's not emotionally available, the light is off, that is true, he's not going to respond. I also think this is where a lot of situationships come from because like you keep trying to make it happen, you keep trying to hail a taxi cab and you don't necessarily have the best boundaries, so you just kind of end up getting used. Regardless, case in point, at the end of the day, y'all are not setting a wedding date, it's not going anywhere. So, why do I think the taxi cab theory is cope? It's because of this next part, where once the guy's taxi cab light does come on, once he's emotionally available, once he wants to settle down, whatever, he just stops for the first girl who hails the taxi cab. And I don't think that this is particularly unique to taxi cab theory. I think that you hear this a lot online, where it's like the guy doesn't marry the woman of his dreams, he marries the woman right in front of him when he's ready to get married. Like, he hits a certain age and just whoever's there, that's who he's gonna marry. And I'm sorry, but I don't think y'all are giving men enough credit on this, or at least you're not acknowledging that there's a certain threshold that you at least need to be meeting in order to be the woman in front of him that is actually worth settling down with. And the reason that I think that this theory is so attractive is because it removes any accountability from the woman, and it removes any sense of agency from the man, right? It's really nice to be able to tell yourself that dating and marriage is just a game of chance, and if somebody doesn't bite, it just means that they were genuinely emotionally unavailable, or there's some reason on their end that they're not scooping you up. But emotionally available men turn down women all the time, and they break up with women all the time. And again, I know people are going to come at me for saying that emotionally available men don't exist. They 100% do. But the actionable part of this is that you cannot just assume that just any guy that doesn't want a relationship with you is automatically emotionally unavailable. There's a million other dynamics that could be at play. People are complex creatures, men are as well, men are people, and I just don't think that this is the most helpful mindset to go into dating with.
Essentially, what I think is happening for a lot of these women is they're trying to get a guaranteed contract before they even prove anything, right? Oh, well, he just wants to marry the woman in front of him. No, that woman that he's come in contact with has proved something to him. She's gone through a series of checks. Maybe he didn't say it out loud, but she's gone through a series of checks and tests that he's asking, hey, what about this? What about that? What do you think in this scenario? What are you going to do in this scenario? And she's passed all of those mostly to his liking. And that's why he says, okay, let's go with it. If he's up in age, then he probably knows how to spot that because he's been around a little bit more, right? But you guys are thinking that, okay, I'm going to get a guaranteed contract without really doing any work. That's exactly what you guys are doing today with the sprinkle. Oh, get a man that does this, get a man that does that, so you can get a guarantee out of your stuff. Oh, I already got $300 out of him, so it don't matter. Or I already got a Gucci bag out of him, so it don't matter. You guys are playing these types of games, and it's a short game, and you're not really getting much out of it, but people playing in your face, and then eventually the man that comes along that you like, he don't even pay you any mind. Or the man that you like is actually a Chad, he cracks and then moves on. So now you're trying to take it out on the man that was on the man that actually trying to get with you, and you're charging a higher fee for used goods. I hate to say it like that, but that's essentially what you're doing.
And I love when I see a girl get her first getting money boyfriend. I love that for you. He paid your rent. But I got a question. Am I wrong? So my ex was a broke ass nigga. I ain't gonna lie. Used to threaten his baby mama for money and said to spend on me though, y'all. I haven't been in a relationship since. But I'm talking to this dude. We have not did nothing yet, y'all. I cooked for him 2 times. And he been giving it to his homeboys too and posting his homeboys eating it. I screen recorded it if y'all want to see. But we spent the night together. Why do this man wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, damn near 5, wake me up to let him out the house? I let him out the house. He goes to work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then do the day he do his side gig. And that's an on-call job. So as soon as you got the phone call, you gotta go. So I got a little irritated with him because we haven't went on a date yet. But when I did cook for him, he paid for the food. But it's like he's on call all the time. If you know, you know. So it's like a call basis, you gotta go. So he told me the other day when I woke up, I was trying to take you to breakfast, you wasn't up, this, that, and the third. So how you mad at me that I ain't take you on a date yet? But every time he literally plans a date, I'm literally not aware of the date. I'm asleep. So this nigga want me to be an on-call ass. I work and I do my side gig too. And I told him basically the world don't revolve around you. Nigga think you bigger than the program? He like, send me some money. He sent me the money. So I can't keep saying you don't like me because you give me money when I ask for, but it's like you too busy to make time out your day for me. So I don't know if I should cut him off or should I keep him. What should I do, y'all? I don't know.
I think you're making a problem where there is no problem. The guy clearly likes you. You like the guy. He's got a schedule. He's trying to make money. He's busting his behind trying to make money. Well, I got a side gig too. Well, maybe your side gig doesn't involve what his side gig involves. You're not bigger than the program. Goodness.
Hey y'all, happy Labor Day. I have a question. So I had a conversation yesterday, and of which I got up this morning and I called my dad, because y'all know I'm always talk to my dad when it comes to things that have my mind, going in circles. And the conversation that I had with the gentleman yesterday, he was saying like how men have stronger boundaries than women. And, you know, I paused because I like to process. And he went on to describe, like, what he meant by it. He was saying that, like, men don't allow women to cheat on them. That's like a boundary of which, like, if they do that, it's a no-go. It's a severance of the ties, a point of no return. But we all know, depending on the love, the depth of the love and the commitment of that person, not all men leave. Some men can't work through that. But then I was asking my dad, I was like, Dad, like, why are men's boundaries so strong on cheating, but they're not as strong on disrespect? I've been at bars, I've been in clubs, I've been in restaurants, I've been at gatherings, I've been at events, and I have seen women disrespect their men in public, and I have seen that couple again. So if the number one thing for a man is to be respected, I just want to know, like, why aren't the boundaries so sharp with disrespect that they are for cheating? And if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong, or, you know, or if I'm right, like, just give me, like, and don't, and humbly I'm asking you that because I know women fall short in 1,000 categories. We do. We have too much grace. We have, you know, too much forgiveness, too much this, too much that. We take a lot of stuff in stride. But I know for sure that I see great men get disrespected and they stay. So y'all let me know. Happy Labor Day.
A man tries to work with you contrary to popular belief, and you're actually making the point, you're making the argument for men, that men are actually bearing with women. They are actually emotionally intelligent enough, and allowing the woman to be vulnerable and allowing the woman to express herself, whether it be good or bad. They allow the woman the space to do that. A woman can act up, cut up, as you're talking about, in bars and clubs and restaurants, and you see him again and the man is still with her. Well, that's just the way she is, man. You know, she gets mad sometimes. And the man will protect her when he probably doesn't need to, in all honesty, because she did that to herself. But he still protects her anyway, because he's trying to say, that's my dog. That's my friend. And I know she probably going through it, but you guys don't understand what she was upset about. And sometimes I can be a knucklehead, and sometimes I don't do things right. So, you know, even though she was wrong on this instance, I'm going to still protect her because I'm loyal and I ride for mine. That's really what he's saying. But when you decide, and also it's because he doesn't want to be, you know, seen as controlling and not listening to you and not hearing you out. But when you decide to do that, then there is nothing about that man that you respect at that point in time. You don't care. It's almost quite literally, for a lot of men, that's the one thing. You can call it insecure, whatever you want. That's probably the one thing that a man does not want. You got a lot of leeway, a lot of space. You can go out on a girl's trip, honestly and truly, and you might get away with that. You can go out for a girl's night and y'all act up, and you might get away with that. But if I find out you did this, we have a huge problem. And I don't think most women understand that. But what happens is y'all continue to push a boundary because y'all really didn't care about respecting the man in the first place. And you get to that point. And so when a man cuts you off cold turkey because he's been allowing you to disrespect him and you've been getting away with it, you think that's just the way of life and it's not going to be any different. You think, oh shoot, I really messed up this time. I'm going to give him a couple of tears. I'm going to give him some stuff, you know. I'm going to try to, you know, give him a little bit, you know, or at least offer it to him. I know he probably ain't going to want it. I'm going to try to give it to him and do a little work south of the border for him. You know what I mean? and we should be okay. But then when he cut you off, you're like, oh, he's actually rejected me. Yeah, that's what we're trying to tell you. Don't do that. You guys push men to the point of no return, and y'all think y'all can cry a little bit, buy some fajitas, buy him his favorite ice cream, give him tickets to the game, and all's gonna be well, instead of just learning to act like you have some sense.
Don't shoot the messenger. Feminism told y'all be strong, independent, and alone. And y'all followed it to the grave. Y'all push all the good men away, call submission slavery, and think being difficult is cute. Now y'all 35 and tired, looking around like, oh, where the good men at? Sis, they moved on. Real men want peace, not problems in a lace front and a loud voice. Feminism sold y'all freedom, but they didn't mention the price. Loneliness.
I couldn't be no man. Ask me for money? Not a problem. But I'm gonna keep an alcohol wipe on me just in case, like it's a knock. You ask me for $1,000? Sure, no problem. I'm taking my alcohol wipe and swiping the back of that neck. And if anything is other than the color white, you could get a kite and fly off my face and go home and take a shower. Stop asking for you don't need no money. Well, if you need money for soap, I got you. Stop asking for a bag when you smell like a bag of shit.
It's been a while since I did a dating story time, mostly because I have stopped dating for a few months. Every once in a while, you just need a reset, especially when you're consistently going on terrible dates. It's probably just me and the people I'm picking, honestly. But I did go on a date 2 weeks ago. I went with a guy, 42. I'm 40 years old. And we went out. He was very, very funny via text. Like, he would say things like, are you going to wear your romper today? Let me know because I really don't want to match. So it was like cutesy. It took us a couple of weeks to really go on the date because I had things going on and so did he, and I went on a trip and then I came back. So we do finally go on this date. We go to a restaurant close to me, which was nice. He planned it. He picked the place. He picked the time. He was just like starting off really good, self-sufficient. I can make a plan. That's great. Not a requirement for me, but it's always nice when somebody can do that. I get to the restaurant, and when I get there, I notice that his tone is different. He's not as humorous. He seems a little bit more stoic. He just doesn't seem interested, which is fine because that's what dating's for, right? People will decide if they're interested in you or not. And there's like a million reasons why somebody might not be interested in you. So I don't find it a reason to get offended. I know some people do, but it's fine. You can't be everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's going to find you attractive. Like, who cares? So we're going through the motions of the date, and he's being very polite and he's still being very kind. He's not being rude or anything. The bill comes, he pays. So this is where it gets a little bit strange. I'm already anticipating like, hey, it was nice to meet you. Good night. Well, all of a sudden he says, do you want to go somewhere else and have a drink? And I was a little bit shocked by that because I could already feel that the vibe just wasn't there for him. And in turn, now it just wasn't there for me. But I'm friendly and I like to hang out. So I said, sure, if you want to. And this is verbatim. I'm not taking away anything or adding anything. And then he says to me, oh yeah, do you want to do it here or do you want to go somewhere else? In the area that I live in, there's not a lot open on a weekday after like 9 o'clock. It's a very family-oriented neighborhood. We don't even have fast food restaurants that are open past 10. But I know there's a dive bar that's about 7 or 8 minutes away from the restaurant we were at. So I say, oh, well, there's this place. I explain to him where it is. And then he says, okay, well, how do you want to do this? Do you want to ride with me? And then I'm like, no, you can follow me. And he's like, okay, no problem. I get to the parking garage of the area that we're going to be in. I wait approximately 5 minutes and then I'm looking around and it's dead. The parking garage is dead. So it's clearly easy to see if somebody comes in or out. I was able to park right at the front. Nobody came in. So I sent a quick text and was like, hey, where are you? I didn't receive a response. About 2 minutes, I left. There's just no reason for me to stay there at this point. It's the middle of the night. I'm a woman. I'm in a garage. I'm alone. Let's go. So I'm not thinking anything of it. And then I'm about 8 minutes from my house, maybe 10. So I'm driving and about halfway to my house, I get a text from him that says, sorry, I went home. Now, I find this strange because you're the one who suggested that we go do something else instead of just telling me good night and then going home. But I'm not really one to make a scene or to make a big mess out of something. So all I said was, that was weird. You have a good night and thank you for dinner. End of story. All done. Well, I get home and then when I'm at home for about 30 minutes, I randomly get another text from him and the text says, I feel like you misrepresented yourself. So I say, okay, why? Like, I want to know why. Again, I'm still not offended. I don't really care. Everybody's perception of things is so different. And when you're dating online, you're only seeing pictures. And sometimes when you get to the person, they don't look, I guess, how you envisioned or exactly like their pictures. Well, he says to me, first and foremost, your profile says you're 38 and you're actually 40, which we had actually discussed over dinner because I did say my age to him. It's a long story. My account's linked to my Facebook. I just didn't correct the age. I have an ongoing joke with a couple friends of mine about being in our 30s forever. So it wasn't a malicious thing or that I was trying to hide it because, again, on the date I said I am 40. But, okay, I can give you that. That's true. I guess that is technically a misrepresentation. So we're not going to make a big deal about that. And then I said, okay, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but, I did tell you. And then he was like, yeah, I should have just left during the date as soon as you said that. And I said, well, maybe you should have. That's your choice. Understandable. And then he said, also, I think your pictures were really old. And then I said, oh, well, all those pictures are from this year. 2 of them actually being from my actual birthday that are on there. What did you feel like was a misrepresentation about them? He goes, well, they just look like they were taken a long time ago. So I don't know if he was saying that I looked old or I looked different than my pictures, but I don't use filters on my pictures except for like a skin clearing filter, but I don't like to change the features of my face. Like I don't want to change my nose or my lips or my eyebrows or anything for that matter. So they don't have filters. So I start sending all my pictures to my friends and other guys that I went on dates with that I'm cool with now. They're like, no, you look exactly like that in person. Like when I met you, you looked exactly like yourself. So then it kind of made me self-conscious because I'm like, well, am I like misrepresenting myself? I've never had this problem and I have been on a lot of dates. I've been single for 8 years. So I was just like, you know what? That's maybe just him. And that's okay. Maybe he thought I was smaller. Maybe he thought I was skinnier. I don't know. Maybe he thought my nose. I mean, I've heard all kinds of reasons on why somebody doesn't want to go on a date again. And so it's not a big deal. But it still didn't excuse the fact that you are a grown-ass man and you decided that you were going to invite me to go somewhere even though you weren't interested. And I was like, you could have just done the gentlemanly thing and said goodnight and been done and then we never talk again, or you tell me later, oh, I just wasn't interested or whatever. But you're the weirdo. You asked me to go somewhere else and then just didn't show up. I've also asked a couple of my male friends about this scenario and they were thoroughly confused. So I just couldn't figure it out. So I don't know what his thought process was, but my sister always tells me that I should date men who are older than me and not younger than me. So I finally go on a date with a guy who's older than me, only by a couple years, and he's not any better. So I don't know if her theory was correct. However, that was 2 weeks ago and I haven't been on a date since. I'm a little bit scarred from that encounter, and this is why you have to take breaks when you're dating. Anyways, who knows? So if anybody has any insight or input into why they think he did that, you go ahead and comment and let me know.
So let's first deal with him really quickly. So he should have been the gentleman in the situation. He paid, he did all that stuff. He was a gentleman up until then, right? You got a young lady out there in the middle of the night. She could have been standing out there waiting on you. Somebody could have done something weird to her. You don't leave her hanging like that. You say, hey, we're going to go to this place. You show up. If you decide at that point in time you don't want to go in the dive bar or wherever you guys are going, you can say, hey, I said I wanted to go here, but I'm not really feeling it. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. You want me to walk you to your car? And let that be that. Because once again, I feel like it's a safety issue and you really don't know, especially at that time of night, you don't know what's happening. She could have been, like I said, standing at the door waiting on you, standing in the parking lot waiting on you because she thought you was right behind her, right? And then somebody could have come up to her, surprised her, and then who knows what we would have seen on the news. So we definitely don't want that. I think you could do way better. Like, I don't know why you did that. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, even driving to the restaurant, even driving to the bar, you could have texted her or called her and said, hey, I know I said I was going to go to the bar. I think, I'm sorry, but I'm probably going to go home. I'm tired. I got work tomorrow, but, I'll hit you up later. And then tell her tomorrow, hey, I want to be honest with you. I feel like you misrepresented yourself a little bit, and go from there. And I think that's where we got to hand a little bit of the accountability to you, because you said on your profile you were 38 and you're actually 40. Well, it's a running joke. He don't know you. Well, me and my friends, he don't know you, nor does he know your friends. So you saying you're one thing when you're really another thing, that's lying. Well, it's technically, no, it's lying. It's lying. If a man were to say he was 6 foot and then it comes out that he's 5'10", y'all would be trashing that man. If a man says to you, and he said it to you in this situation, I feel like your photos look kind of old. Well, they're from this year, this, and this. The only thing I use is a skin filter and goes into all that stuff that they were using and stuff. Maybe you did not look like your pictures. Well, my friend said, I don't give a crap what your friend said. This is the man that's dating you. And he said, you don't look like your pictures. Period. End of story. Well, I'm okay with this. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because here you are saying, well, I this, and that my friend said, and I was thinking about. You feel some type of way about it. Women will go on men's pictures talking about, oh, that was a bad angle. Oh, these pics are old. Oh, that's a mirror selfie. Oh, it's a hat fish. Oh, this is a fish photo. Another one. You're fishing again. Oh, look at you. You're in the gym again. A gym photo. Oh, once again, a gym bro. Oh, a finance bro. Oh, here's a creepy smile. Oh, that's weird. I don't think. And they'll go through all of that stuff, nitpicking and trashing a man. But then when a man says, hey, I think that you misrepresented yourself and here's why, all of a sudden he's the only red flag. I think at some point in time, when we're giving him this accountability, when we're giving him responsibility for some things, I think that you need to take responsibility yourself. And I think you probably need to go change that. Oh, well, I just don't, and I this and that. No, you need to go ahead and change that. Because women will be like, oh, how hard is it to change? How hard is it to do? Oh, it's just like 2 swipes. It's literally 2 clicks. Look, I just did it. And they'll say all of that stuff. But now for you didn't change it. So once again, like I said, I understand where you're coming from. He definitely didn't have to leave you hanging like that. And he shouldn't have. But he felt like you misrepresented yourself. And I think he might be valid.